If you're looking for a security camera to put in remote places or as a trail camera, which is how I intend on using this, I'm reviewing the ReoLink Go PT Plus. Hopefully the functionality highlight list is as long as its name. Let's find out. The ReoLink Go PT Plus is a wireless 4G cellular security camera that can be hung in remote places to monitor activity on your property. With smart detection, the camera only records once it detects motion. Get 2K 4 megapixel quality videos and a live view right from the ReoLink app on your phone. PT stands for pan tilt, which can be controlled from the app with a 355 degree pan and 140 degree tilt. Paired with the solar panel, you never have to worry about batteries. Thanks for joining me, guys. I am Jase at Jase Outdoors. And just quick disclaimer, ReoLink sent me this camera to give my honest review. I'm not being paid, no money exchanged hands for this, nor did they have any say in this video before I uploaded it. Let's get started. And here's everything in the box along with the solar panel. It has your quick start guide, the mounting bracket, screws for the mounting bracket, the antenna, a strap if you want to strap it to the tree without screws, USB cable, the ReoLink Go PT Plus camera itself, along with the solar panel and the mounting bracket for the solar panel, also with the mounting screws. So that's everything in the box. Let's put this together real fast. We'll put the antenna on. Now this does come with a micro SD card. It's a 32 gig card, which is nice that they include that. However, it does not come with a SIM card. There's some good and bad to that, just basically having to find a SIM card. But if you do your research, you can get this fairly cheap. There's a bunch of different companies, you know, different prices, different plans. I just went with US Mobile, but for $8 a month, actually they say $5 a month, and then by the time you pay all the fees, it's like a little over $8 a month. I get 500 megabytes per month. And with the ReoLink Go PT, I don't have any troubles even coming close to using 500 megs. The compression on this camera, the way it sends you the videos, is very, very small files. There's also a cheaper plan with US Mobile. I think it's $3. Comes out to like 5 something per month for, I think, 100 megs per month. So let's get out the SIM card. So these come in this little booklet here. They give you actually 2 cards with all different sizes. You want the nano one, so you're going to pop this out. The other card I think is for a different network. I usually go with the white one. So we'll just pop this out of here. It takes the really, really small one, the nano one. Then we're going to plug this into the unit itself, and it's a little tricky at first when I first got the other one, but this is located underneath the lens here, so you have to spin that back, and it says it right on there, nano SIM and the micro SD card. So you just peel back the cover. Now, I always have a little trouble getting this SIM card in because it's so small. My fingers just don't fit in that. And US Mobile inside their kit here supplies this little push pin to push that SIM card in. And it should click once it's in there. And we'll close that up. We want to make sure that that is nice and tight so no water gets in there. Okay, so now that we got the SIM card installed, I'm going to activate that SIM card. So you have to download and install the app of the US Mobile. If you haven't already done so, we create an account, all that good stuff. Okay, so that took like 2 or 3 minutes for that to activate. So now we are going to turn on the camera here. So on the back here by the antenna, there's this little tab that you have to pull out. I can never get my fingers underneath it. So you just pull that tab out, and you can see right there, there's a little on-off switch. We're just going to turn this on. Make sure you plug that back in nicely so the water doesn't get in there. And you'll see that there's a red light that comes on right by the lens. Now it's flashing blue. So now it has stopped flashing. I believe it's ready to go. So we're going to go into the ReoLink app. We're going to go here to the top right hand corner and hit the plus symbol. And we are going to scan the barcode. Jeez, I didn't even get it on there. I can't, wow, it did get it. So I have two other cameras set up here. I have the ReoLink Go and the ReoLink Go PT. So this one's going to be at the bottom. Click on that. So we got to create a device password. Enter a password of the device. Name your device. Third step, it's asking you to select the scene, so we're going to go outdoors. So please note that battery cameras are not designed for 24/7 continuous recording. To reduce power consumption, wake up when motion events are triggered or when you access the camera via client or app. So basically this is just saying that this camera does not record all the time. It only records when it detects motion. Points out some things here you should avoid. Hit next. Gives you a barcode here that you can share with friends if you want. I'm going to hit finish. And we're going to go to the settings of this camera. So the battery is pretty low. So obviously you want the PIR motion sensor on, camera recording on. Push notifications if you want alerts sent to your phone when it's triggered. You turn this on. I definitely want that on. Email alerts, you can have it send a JPEG photo to your email account every time it detects motion, which I haven't really played with that just yet because I just like to go in and look at the video and see what's happening in real time. Siren, you can have it like if it detects motion, if you have it overlooking a shed and it goes, more likely you're getting people on there, you can have a siren go off, or you can even have a custom setting for it to say something at that moment. And then down here is where you can share the camera. We'll go into the advanced where you can change the device password, date and time. You want it to record audio, and the infrared light should just leave on auto. I'm just going to make sure the date and time is set right, and it looks to be. And just going back up to the PIR motion sensor tab here, if you click that, obviously it's on, but you have a dial here for sensitivity. It defaults at 80. You really have to just experiment if you in the woods or just wind or even a tree branch, something that just moves. You can adjust that sensitivity level. I usually just keep it like right around 90, and it seems to do pretty good. And then up here at the top there is a reduce faults alarm. So if you do have that branch blowing around, you can turn that on, and it's supposed to reduce alarms. I just play with this dial mostly, and I've really never had any issues with that. So let's go back to the main screen here. I'm going to click on the thumbnail, and once you hit play over cellular data, I should have a live view of what it's seeing. And there it is. And then this is where it really gets awesome. So down here you got the PTZ button. So you press that, and this is where I will not move my hand. Oh, and you can turn this and look around. So awesome. So some of the nice features with this camera, it's supposed to be able to detect people or vehicles. So you're using this as a security camera in your driveway or something, you're going to know when somebody's out of their vehicle, which is pretty cool. Boys, for how I'm using it in the outdoors, I would love for it to be able to determine, bucks versus does. As crazy as that sounds, I know like some companies have that capability of doing that, but this is really not designed to be used as a trail camera. It just happens to work out that this thing is absolutely awesome in the woods, which, is partly why it's white. If you're hanging this up on your awning, at your house on the siding, like, it looks fine and it probably blends right in, but you put this out in the woods and this thing, it's like a light bulb out there. You might want to just give it a little custom paint job or put some tape over it just to hide it a little bit. And it's certainly not so much from the deer. I mean, you want to place this up like, 8 to 10 feet off the ground. So I've never had an issue with it bothering deer, but for me it's just, somebody seeing it and taking it. It'd be a lot easier to steal this in the woods than if this was mounted onto your house. So I just try to camo this up a little bit just so someone doesn't steal it. There's one feature I want to point out here. If you go into your settings, this little wheel at the top, and go to camera recording, down here, this third option down here, it says post motion record duration. that has been pretty handy, because especially for animals, like I set one up over a food plot, and that deer's just grazing along eating, you know, clover, and it'll stop and just eat, and then it doesn't detect motion anymore, so it stops recording. But this post motion record duration is how long it'll record after it stops moving. So you can it defaults to 8 seconds. You can put it 15 or 30 seconds. After it stops detecting motion, it'll keep recording. This camera is designed to only record while it's detecting motion. And like I said, slow moving objects like a deer grazing, sometimes it'll stop when they're still in the middle of the frame. So you can continue that duration a little bit longer, which is pretty nice. And the overwrite feature is defaulted on. You definitely want to leave that on, because if your SD card fills up, it'll just continue to overwrite it. Then under the display tab here, if you press that, you can flip your screen horizontal, vertical, quality. This is where you'd have to play with this a little bit. It defaults to a 1440 resolution. The highest frame rate is 15 frames per second, which is probably the only downside to that, and that's as high as you can go. It defaults to 15. It would be great if it could get 25, 30 would be awesome, but frame rate's unfortunately a little slow. So you can send a higher bit rate to your phone, which is going to be better quality, but of course you're going to use up more of your plan. So it defaults at 3072. So you can go a little higher if you want, or drop it down if you're finding yourself burning up too much of your plan. I'm just going to leave it on the defaults now. I'll probably play with that later. Resolution, there is only one resolution. And then backing out to the display settings, day and night, leave it auto, scene is outdoor, and the brightness, you can kind of control your exposure a little bit. It'll just brighten up or darken the image a little bit. I noticed with snow on the ground, it tends to expose for the white snow, so everything seems to be a little bit darker. Then the camera name and watermark and date, you can kind of place where they are on your thumbnail and your video feed, so that's kind of neat. And then there's a privacy mask, where if you have this at your house and you don't want to see a certain part of the scene, you can have that blocked out. So just going back into the live mode here, I thought this was kind of neat too on this version. You hit this clip button down here, it looks like a little magnifying glass. Let this connect first. You can kind of see, it shows you the kbps at the top. And as you can see, you're running like 220, 15, 200, a little over 200 kilobytes per second. But down here, this little magnifying glass, this clip, is kind of neat. So if you have a section in this view that you want to see, you just pinch to that or move it around, and it kind of just zooms right into that area. So it gives you the full picture at the bottom, and then at the top it shows you that area that you're looking at. So that's pretty cool. And then to view these clips, you're going to go into playback. It saves all your clips, and it now gives you a thumbnail of what that clip is, which is super awesome. Before they didn't have that, and that was one of my biggest complaints with the app, but now it just kind of scrolls through the video to show you what the clips are. And then down here, these blue lines is a clip at every time. So it shows you exactly what was taken that day. On the top right-hand side of the thumbnail, it has a little person running, and that means it detected a person in that shot. So, and then of course you find the clip that you want to look at, and you just click on it and it'll play at the top. Going back to the main camera view, then on your left hand side you have a talk button, which you can talk through the camera to somebody in live time. I haven't used that a whole lot in the woods, but I did have to scare a couple critters away when the bears were trying to climb the tree to get to my camera. I scared them off by yelling through the camera. So I think that's about it as far as, you know, the main features of this. We'll get it up on a tree and run a few tests out there. So I'm just going to hang this up on this tree here, just kind of watch this road and just really just run a few tests real quick before I put it up on the driveway. So I'm going to mount it using this bracket. I just want to point out that if you're planning on using this on a ceiling or, you know, an awning, or even if like a branch hanging out over, and you don't want to connect it directly to something, but rather a ceiling to hang downward. On the top here of this bracket, it says open. There's a little slider here. Underneath, you'll see open and close. You just pull this and then twist it to open, and that unlocks it. Just pull this out. So now you'll mount this directly to the ceiling. Once you have this mounted to the ceiling, then you'll just screw this to there and it hangs just like that. But I'm going to use this, and then to pop it back in, you just line up the little nubs here and just hit close so it locks in. So I'm going to screw this to the tree behind me here real fast, and we'll just run a few tests. Alright, so I'm just going to walk by it here a few times and see what happens. You can see it up there in the tree over here behind me. In front of it right now. And we'll see what... And there's the alert already. It says, person detected from ReoLink Go, whatever you end up naming is what it's going to say. But, I mean, that was almost instant. Within 2 or 3 seconds that popped up, so... it's pretty fast. Alright, so I'm just going to drive through here real fast, and I'm coming up on it, and I should be in front of it right now. And there's the alert, and you can see it says vehicle is detected. That's pretty cool that it can tell the difference. So this does record audio also, which is certainly a nice feature. And then being able to, pull up the app and talk back to the person is pretty awesome. So I'm filming this review, and I look over and this deer stand. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm parked right here. This deer standing right here. This is weird. It smells me. So I hung this camera next to my driveway just to get me coming and going and some of the critters that come through. And I hung it without the solar panel. I just wanted to get an idea of how well the battery worked without the solar panel. So I gave it a full charge. And I pulled the card out after the 3-week mark just so I could finish this review. And the camera still had 52% battery life left at 3 weeks. So it was on pace to doing 5, maybe even 6 weeks with just the battery itself. I did have a lot of activity. Like I said, I was coming and going a bunch of times. So I did put it to work. The battery lasted a little longer than I thought. However, the solar panel is just, it's awesome. Like, I would really recommend, if you can afford it, to get the solar panel with it. It'll just save you having to go out there, pulling the battery out, charging it overnight, taking it back, plugging it back in. The solar panels, they work amazing. I just want to show you some things I really like about the Plus compared to the other models. The first thing being the resolution. So right here where it says mid, I have it default to mid. So you have fluence, balance, and 4 megapixel. If you put that to 4 megapixel, the image quality is phenomenal. And that's where this clip button down here really comes into handy. If you click that, you can zoom in so far into that image and still get a pretty clear image and to see what you're looking at. However, if you look at the top here by 4G, it shows you how many bars you have. You can see how much kilobytes per second that it's using. So it's a heck of a lot higher in 4 megapixel. Like, it's jumping up to 25 kilobytes, 26. The image quality obviously is so much better, but you're going to burn through your plan a whole lot faster. Let's jump it back down to fluent. You can see the difference. So we were like 2500 kbps, and now we're down to, look at 230, somewhere in there. It jumps around, and the night images require a little less info, so they're probably even smaller than the daytime. But I absolutely love the image quality of this camera. It's phenomenal. Another one of my favorite features is once you go into your playback here, down here, instead of just having the clips as labeled as times like the other ones, you get a little mini preview of that video. So you really don't have to waste time, you know, clicking on it to see what's in it. You got to get a preview of it. And of course, if you want to watch the whole thing, you just hit play and it streams it, and then it shows you that clip. So I'm going to close this video just playing a bunch of clips that I got from the driveway of some deer and just, you know, me leaving. And this is, you know, for you to look at. So just understand that this is the files taking right off the card. So it's high quality. This is as good as it gets. When you stream it over your phone in Fluent, of course the quality is not as good, but it's typically good enough. Again, you know, it depends on your data plan. So I will just jump into the US mobile app here real fast. Just for the last 3 weeks, I did use it pretty hard. And as you can see up here, the ReoLink Go PT Plus is what I have it named. I have 293 megabytes left for the month, which it tells you here at the top I have 13 days left. So I didn't even burn half of the plan. So the videos sent to your phone are very small files, and you can just get a lot of use out of this camera with just 500 megs, which is a little over $8 a month. I really appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please ask down in the comment section below. I do my best to get back to everybody. Check out the links in the description for this if you're interested in buying any of these. Until next time, I'll see you right here on Jase Outdoors.